Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the What's Playing Tonight podcast. We have reached a milestone, 10 episodes. I think that's pretty good. I never thought it would make it past the first one. But it did. My name is Tyler Stans. I don't know if I said that already, but I'm going to say it again. And I'm joined with my, I am joined today by my co-hosts, the Silver-Eyed Wolf himself.
Also known as Nate. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, yeah.
Awesome. And we also have with us the Lime Knight in the Limelight.
Still going with that slogan, huh? Mm-hmm. It is me, Raceland.
And how are you guys doing today?
Nate?
Pretty good. Been watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series today, so hoping to finish that later.
Nice.
How about you, Raceland?
I finished up the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the ending as well. I'm doing all right. I'm just chilling, honestly.
Chilling like a villain?
That's it. Like a villain.
So, besides Obi-Wan, have you guys been watching anything this week?
Dude, so I've been watching some crazy stuff. Basically the same as last episode.
Oh my god. What about you, Nate?
Finished, I think it was the season finale for The Boys. And it was pretty good, actually. I really liked it. And then binge watched the entire third season of The Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
Very nice, very nice.
How about you, Ty?
I ain't been watching anything.
What?
Not at all. I don't think. Maybe.
There is one thing I have been watching that's different than last pod, is that I started the anime Hunter x Hunter.
Hunter what?
Oh, okay.
Hunter x Hunter.
What Hunter?
Some may say Hunter x Hunter, but it's called Hunter x Hunter.
Hunter X what?
Okay.
How do you like that anime?
How do you like it?
It's going good. Yeah, I'm about, I think, halfway through the season, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, I used to read the manga for that, and then got to the part where they showed off it. I think.
Hey! Don't spoil stuff.
It's not spoiling. It's literally just a power up, which happens in all anime. I saw his power up and was like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't like the looks of it," so I just kind of drifted away from the manga.
Well, I didn't even know that they were bringing Hunter x Hunter back, until I was halfway through this first season. I was like, "Oh, cool! They're bringing it back." Yeah,
I didn't know they were bringing it back either.
So, boys, we're Marvel fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not this week, but I think the week after is Thor: Love and Thunder will be coming out.
Mm-hmm. It's really that soon?
July 7th.
Holy crap! I had no idea.
Are we excited for that?
Oh, of course.
I'm gonna probably go see it in theaters on probably either that Friday or Saturday.
Well, I'm glad I got the invite.
Oh, yeah, I don't invite people anymore.
Oh, that's cool.
Why's that?
Because, I hold grudges. Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Do you have a grudge with me?
Well, when it comes to Marvel movies, I mean, I still haven't seen Multiverse of Madness.
That's on Disney Plus. You have no excuse now.
It's on Disney Plus now.
Oh, I know that. But I'm saying I didn't get an invite from either of my two best friends to go see that movie, even if they had already seen it.
True. Well, that's
so
true.
Yeah, I hold grudges. Yeah.
Cool.
Do you want to go see Thor: Love and Thunder with us?
I would like to, yeah.
Nate?
Sure, we can all go.
All right. We'll work something out.
Awesome.
Because if we don't, Nate's going to, disown us as friends, and then he'll have to clone us to make new friends. Kind of like in this week's movie, The Sixth Day.
Man, that transition was almost as clean as the transitions in the movie.
That's true.
Pretty good criticism, actually, Raceland.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah.
So we're going to do things a little different this week. Because it doesn't make sense to have thoughts on the movie, but also like the final rating. So I'm gonna pose a question to Nate.
Okay.
Why did you pick this movie?
Good question.
Well, first off, I like this movie. It not one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger films, but it's still I find it a pretty good one. And my picking system is literally just me making a list and then having someone pick a number out of that list, like drawing a hat. I like a little bit of randomness in my life.
You see, I thought you would say that, which is why my next follow-up question is, why was it on the list?
Because I like this movie still.
Why do you like this movie?
You're not answering the question.
Yes, I'm trying to get a specific bit of information out of you.
Why
I
like the idea.
This, yes, go ahead.
I like the idea of cloning. It is like in my top 10 favorite kind of sci-fi things is cloning oneself. So the idea of this one where it kind of explores the dark side and the light side of the cloning ethics in the movie, I really like. And as a person who grew up not exactly a super religious family, but in a pretty spiritual family, seeing how they kind of tie in religion as a means to go against cloning in this film, I like all of it coming together.
Speaking of the religion aspect, would you say that the religion group is technically supposed to be the bad guys of the movie?
I think they're supposed to be like one of the bad guys. The main one, no, but
yeah, I didn't think it's the main bad guy, but
one of the. I feel like they're just kind of representing the extremists of that in that regard. Like
that's pretty accurate.
Anything taken to the extreme will normally be bad because too much of anything is not good.
Except beer.
No, that's very bad.
Not even that.
But anyway, Nate, what's this movie about?
It's about a guy who gets cloned, doesn't realize he gets cloned, and or when he does find out, does everything in his power to get his life back from said clone. So, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who his name is Adam Gibson in the film, and he is a recreational pilot, helicopter pilot, I think. I'm not entirely sure what the actual job title is.
He's definitely a helicopter pilot of some sort.
Yeah, he takes people, or in the film anyway, he took them up to snows or to ski and snowboard and whatnot up on a mountain.
And look, quick sidebar here, Raceland, were those not the most realistic looking CGI helicopters that you've ever seen in your life?
Dude, I thought they were coming right out of the movie.
I know.
They look so real.
I think it was somewhat not great, but decent for the time because this came back out in 2000.
Yeah.
So
I have a
10
question,
years
Nate.
old.
My question is, you said this came out in 2000, and this is supposed to be cloning in the future. What time period is this supposed to be set in?
I think it's actually supposed to be set in 2052. They're
pretty close to where it is now. We better get some crazy cloning in 30 years.
Well, I mean, we've already passed certain other movies' expectations where, Back to the Future, for example, we've passed that year and we still don't exactly have the tech from that. So
we don't have flying cars and time travel yet?
Or, augmented reality billboards with sharks coming at us.
True.
So, yeah, it's typical movies kind of giving us expectations that we haven't quite achieved. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is being cloned, tries to get his life back. His friend, Hank Morgan, who's played by Michael Rappaport, I'm not entirely sure if I said his name right. He is the one who actually dies and then gets cloned as well. There's Michael Drucker, who is the bad guy. He's played by Tony Goldwyn. He is the dark side of cloning. He sees cloning as a means to benefit his own life rather than the benefit of mankind.
He's also...
Even though...
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
even though he tries to hide that intention behind good means.
He is also phoning in his performance.
Yes, he is not very good in the film.
No.
I'm going to point out one thing. That dude, speaking of clones, looks like a straight up clone of Steve Jobs.
That was
That
probably
dude
the
looked-
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks exactly like Steve Jobs. He looks like if Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg like became one. It's that person.
Zark Muckerberg.
Yeah, that's it.
That's my Star Wars name.
I could see that.
Yeah, that dude looks very much like Steve Jobs.
And so when the company that clones people, which is illegal in this movie,
Because of the
certain action that happened, and
the
like
Sixth Day Law.
yeah, because of an incident that happened several years ago.
Did they ever explain the incident?
Nah,
Yes.
they just kind of hint at it. I don't think they ever go.
Well, they
into
said
detail.
they cloned a human and
it didn't go well.
It didn't go well. He came out bad, so they had to terminate the clone.
Yeah, but they
And
don't like.
That's about as far as we get.
That's as
Yeah.
far as you get, yeah.
But they are able to clone animals. They do clone animals.
Repet.
Yeah, well, repet is the commercial aspect, but then Drucker talks about how they also helped clone like animals out in the wild and replenish like fish in
Yeah.
the ocean, stuff like that.
That was cool.
So, yeah, that's the good side, the benefits of mankind, which is also kind of I'm blanking on the word. Kind of
Well, I'll
he
let you-
is go ahead.
I'll let you think about that for a minute.
All right, thank
We can
you.
also think about what did we think of seeing Michael Rooker with hair?
Michael Rooker is
Yondu
one-
in,
bad guy, right?
Yeah.
he's in the one in Guardians, right?
Yes.
Guardians of
Yeah.
the Galaxy. Yeah. Okay, so that brings me one of my points is that the two bad guys, one of the dudes is Michael Rooker, and the other guy is Daryl from The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
and every time
Rodney
those two,
Rowland.
every time those two interact with each other, I just
Not-
see the brothers from The Walking
So-
Dead.
It's not. He is in The Walking Dead, but he is not Daryl.
No,
I thought
he's
he-
not. Daryl
no.
is played by I can't even think of his name. He was also in Saints Row.
I thought he
Yeah.
was Daryl.
No.
Yes, so did I when we were watching the movie.
Oh,
We both talked about it. I was going to mention that in this actually, and hopefully to try to keep you from saying that.
Well, I feel stupid.
It's okay. To me, they do look pretty similar. So Norman Reedus played Daryl Dixon.
That's
who
it.
Well,
is
he looks so much like Daryl, and the fact that this movie came out 20 years ago, I'm like, oh, it's a young Daryl. That makes
Yeah.
total sense why he looks like that.
He is in The Walking Dead, though. He plays a character named Baxter, apparently. I think he was in an episode. So
Oh,
he is in The Walking Dead. Just
Oh,
not
I-
as
Not
the
as like
brother.
a main guy.
Yeah, and not as the brother of Michael
Oh.
Rooker's character.
well, that makes me feel stupid.
And
Oh,
speaking
no.
of the
I had this
bad
game
guys,
misconception.
speaking of the bad guys,
Okay.
I noticed that Terry Crews is in this movie
Yes.
playing a bad guy.
Yes.
Way to go, Nate. You just love Terry Crews.
There were levels of disappointment after I picked this movie when I actually remembered certain aspects to this movie.
Because you made a big deal on Where's the Money about, oh man, I hate seeing Terry Crews as a
Yes.
villain. Picks a movie with Terry Crews as a villain.
Yes. Like I said, I completely forgot that Terry Crews was a villain in this. Honestly, I forgot that Terry Crews was in this film. He is not he's a side main villain. He is one of the underlings of the main villains. So we don't see him very often in the movie. We'll see him occasionally, and he, I think, had a few lines in the film. So yeah, his character is kind of forgettable to me.
Oh yeah.
But back to what I was saying earlier, I've actually remembered words. So the good side of cloning was exemplified by Robert Duvall's character, Dr. Griffin Weir, who is the creator of cloning. And so, and he works with Michael Drucker. So while Michael Drucker is kind of the PR guy and the ideas guy, Robert Duvall's character, Dr. Griffin, he was more of the practical
Science
side.
guy.
Yeah, he was the guy who made this shit happen.
Which Robert Duvall, big actor.
Yeah.
He's been in
I thought he did
ton of movies.
I thought he did a really good job in this.
I have one little minor gripe about the creator of cloning character.
Okay.
You would think the creator of cloning would have a contingency plan of him getting cloned or something in case he gets killed or something like that.
Well, the CEO does.
Yeah, he definitely does. But I'm talking about the creator himself didn't get cloned.
Well, okay, so from what I gathered, he may actually had a contingency plan until his wife was like, I don't want to be cloned. His whole thing is he doesn't want to really go on without his wife.
That makes sense.
Matter of fact, he even mentions it when he confronts Drucker. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to clone my wife. She did not want to be cloned. And I promised her I wouldn't clone her or anyone else. So
yeah, the other guy's like, so do it anyways.
Yeah, he's like, screw ethics. Like, I'm not gonna. Why should we uphold the feelings of a dead person? We can just clone them and make them forget.
And we can make them better.
That would almost be like taking dead actors and then CGIing them back to life.
See, on one hand, I don't agree, actually.
It's exactly the same.
It's not the same because CGIing them to life in a movie is not the same as making that person have choices in life. All you're doing is creating a character in a film using the likeness of a real person.
Well, here's a counter thing to that. So the whole thing is that this guy was like, screw ethics. I'm going to create these clones whether they want to or not and make money off of them. Isn't that the same as taking like Tupac, who is dead, and then making a like hologram concert that people pay for to get money off of a dead person?
No.
How's that not the same?
Okay. So
on a technical level, it's not the same. Nate's very specific about stuff, so he will argue into the nitty gritty. But on a thematic level, it is kind of the same.
Well, hold on. So not even onto the on one part, you're creating a living being who has thoughts and consciousness, who you're giving birth basically to an entirely living being. CGI is just a hologram and a visual effects thing. No more different than drawing someone.
So change the hologram concert to an AI concert.
It's an AI. It's still not a living being unless it's a true AI.
So now
that's a whole different
Now
idea.
we know where Nate stands on artificial intelligence rights.
No, like I said, that's a whole different idea. True AI
all right,
is, in my opinion, living.
We got to get back to the movie.
Okay.
This is not a political podcast.
This is a look at the blow stuff up movie kind of podcast.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, Dr. Griffin, they don't ever specify that he created cloning to save his wife, but that's what he uses it for. His wife apparently died. We don't know how she died originally, just that it was, I think, 5 years before the time in this movie. And so he clones her. Then she ends up dying, and he finds out that all the new human clones have a life expiration date, basically. Drucker has apparently been introducing diseases into the clones that give them certain life expectancies. So that's when Griffin's like, hey, no, that's not cool. That's not what we should. That's not why I'm onto this. And you did it to my wife, even if it was on accident. Not cool, man.
Screw you, man.
Yeah, he's like, I quit. Which Drucker doesn't take kindly to, ends up killing Griffin with plans to just clone Griffin and his wife and have them forget the conversation and just continue on like normal. Which, again, just amplifies that Drucker is the evil side of cloning.
He's definitely portrayed as an evil guy.
Yes. And then there's other characters. So you got Adam's wife, Natalie Gibson, played by Wendy Crewson. They have a daughter, which I think her name was Clara Gibson, played by Taylor Reed. And then several other kind of like the minor characters, so like the underlings. Terry Crews as Vincent, which again, forgot about. Rodney Rollin as P. Wiley. Wiley was just a screw up at all times. Like
even towards the end, they're like, don't reclone that guy. He sucks.
He's not worth the money it takes to clone people. Sarah Winter as Talia Ellsworth and Michael Rooker as Robert Marshall. And I believe that's the whole like main cast of
yeah. The only other one I could think of is Colin Cunningham as Trip. I don't know if you mentioned him.
Oh yeah, the original, the religious killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not mention him. He looks familiar. I feel like I've seen him in something.
It says he's in Elektra.
Oh, is he the tattoo guy?
He plays a guy named McCabe. I don't know.
No.
So I know him from Falling Skies, the TV series.
Yeah.
He played a guy named John Pope.
Okay.
He was like the anti-version of the main character. But anyway,
you forgot one character.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you forgot Andrea Libman as the voice of Sim Pal Cindy.
Oh, yeah, no, I completely forgot about that character. Because
your favorite character in the movie.
My memory just keeps blocking that out.
The creepiest thing I've ever seen.
Who in their right mind would bring something like that into their home and think that their daughter would love it?
Mom, I really want this realistic doll. Like,
to be fair, the daughter asked for the doll, but
all my
the doll is
friends have
scarier
this
than
doll.
Chucky.
Yeah, that doll is nightmare fuel.
Especially when the head gets ripped off and it's still like, I had an oopsie or whatever, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, it was a messed up creation. My memory keeps blocking that character out, so I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a fun watch. And then I watched it, and I'm just, one of my greatest fears just keeps coming back at me. So, yeah, Simpal Cindy is not a great aspect of this film.
That thing is so terrifying.
Honestly, I believe the film needs a warning because of that little thing.
What did we think of Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie?
I think it did a pretty good job for, the type of movie it is. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. You know exactly what you're getting with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He played his typical character.
He got them one-liners. Definitely got them one-liners.
Yeah. I will say there's a fact about his character that I think they only mention it briefly, that he's a war veteran in the Rainforest War.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
Dude, we kept laughing about it. Like, what the hell is the Rainforest War?
Yeah. And he has a little patch on his jacket that says Rainforest War.
There was a fight that broke out at the Rainforest Cafe, of course, and they had to break it up.
But, like, because I don't think I ever really noticed it until this watch that he was a war veteran. And I always thought it was kind of weird that this guy just goes into like killing mode without any problems whatsoever, because he's supposed to be like a typical family guy, and he's just snapping necks, running people over, like shooting them no problem. And a very good shot also.
Well, didn't you mention when we were watching it that these are like laser guns, so there's probably no recoil. You just have to literally just aim and point.
And yet people still miss. Like, they were missing him. Yeah, they were missing him like all the time. He was hitting them dead center every time.
That's Arnold for you, buddy.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the movie is right after they tase him, and then it goes into this god awful slow motion thing, and they're falling down like the stoop of his house, and he's like,
Yeah.
That brings me to
part.
one of my gripes, is I absolutely cannot stand the slow-mo and the repeat effect that they do. Like, what?
The
That was
editing
so
in this
annoying.
movie is awful.
Yeah.
It's so awful.
So it doesn't surprise me that this came out in the year 2000, because this is what I consider to be emblematic of like the worst period of time for movie making.
Yeah.
I know a lot of good 2000s movies.
But they all look like this, and they all have
That's-
that and all that.
Yeah.
It's like they go into like PowerPoint and they're like, let's find all the transitions we can put into a movie.
They over edit the film. The CGI is always terrible because they haven't quite figured it out yet, even though Steven Spielberg did it 10 years earlier in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but they also don't have Steven Spielberg budget.
No. What was the budget for this movie, Nate?
So the budget for this film was $82 million.
How much did it make?
Yeah.
96.1 million.
Oh, so it only made like 12 million total or something like that?
It was profitable.
Yeah, 14 million.
14 million.
Here's a fun fact. Schwarzenegger himself got paid $25 million for this movie.
Why?
That is insane.
Yeah, that's
I wonder why the budget's so high.
So that means if they paid him $25 million and the budget was only $82 million, that means they had... Do some math for me.
what? Okay, let me pull my calculator.
Here, let's just...
What's the math that you need?
let me see. I'll do it myself. Just like
Okay.
Thanos. Minus 25. So they had $57 million to make the rest of the movie after they paid Arnold.
Keep in mind, Arnold Schwarzenegger had to play two characters, okay?
Oh, that's true. He was definitely worth the money.
It was very tough. It's definitely tough to do two of the exact same characters.
My other favorite part of the movie is the very beginning where he's looking in the mirror and he's like, "Oh, I can't. Do I have any more wrinkles?" And then he just flexes.
Gotta prove that he's still muscular.
And I was like, "Oh my god, he still got it."
Oh yeah.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was, let's see, he was born in. Did you know he's 74?
It makes
I did
sense.
not, but yeah.
Because he was a bodybuilder in the 70s, so that totally makes sense.
He was massive when he was a bodybuilder.
So in this movie, he was 53 years old.
God damn.
And he was still like, I could pop your head between my biceps.
Yeah, and his biceps were still bigger than mine will ever be.
Than my thigh.
Yes.
So, interesting little fact about this is that The Sixth Day earned 3 Razzie Award nominations for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah?
Worst actor as the real Adam. Worst supporting actor as the cloned Adam. And worst screen couple as Adam and the clone Adam.
So, Raceland, if you don't know, the Razzie Awards are like the bad movie awards.
Oh, I know. I remember when Halle Berry got hers for Catwoman.
Yes.
Yes. It lost all 3 of those to one movie, Battlefield Earth.
Whoa.
I don't know what that is.
So, Battlefield Earth, I've never seen it, but it routinely comes up on like the worst movies of all time.
I've watched it.
I
like
liked it.
sci-fi. No, I like sci-fi. I think there were maybe a few scenes I did like about the film, but overall, I did not like the movie.
Okay,
No.
so if Nate didn't like it, that means it's probably really bad.
Yeah. I can't really defend that film.
On the other hand, this film was nominated 4 times at the 27th Saturn Awards, which are kind of like the science fiction awards. But they lost to X-Men for Best Actor and Best Science Fiction Film, which is insane to me that this came out the same year as X-Men.
X-Men's great, though.
That's why it's
that's
insane.
Why.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Hollow Man for Best Special Effects, which I've never seen, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas for Best Makeup.
Are you talking about Jim Carrey's?
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Oh,
Now, to be fair, How the Grinch Stole Christmas did have some amazing makeup.
It's got good
on that.
makeup. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
Like-
I think Jim Carrey said he had to sit in the chair for like 6 hours every session or something like that.
And that's why he's so crazy and unhinged.
Yeah, it was a plus. That's such a great movie.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, famous film critic Roger Ebert, he's big time movie critic. He actually gave this movie 3 out of 4 stars, remarking that it is not in the same league as Total Recall or Terminator 2, but that it nevertheless qualifies as a serious science fiction film. He also found problems with the cloning as depicted in the film, saying that the problem with both processes is that while the resulting clone might know everything I know, I myself would still be over here in the old container. I don't think that's quite.
Yeah, I'm
know.
not sure. Because, like, in the film, so as the film progressed, we find out that the Adam that we were watching the whole time turns out to be the clone, even though.
Which I predicted.
Yes. It was a pretty predictable film.
Yeah, definitely.
But so Adam turns out to be the clone Adam, and the one he's been trying to get his family back is the real Adam. When we are introduced to the clone Adam at the very beginning of the film, he wakes up in a taxi. Kind of groggy, doesn't really remember anything. So obviously they drug the clones before they put them out into the wild, or so to speak.
And he somehow has a flashback to being on the helicopter, even though he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very confused about that.
So, yeah, in that regard, when I first watched it, I didn't really notice that, because I thought maybe it was just like because the film's bad transitioning, like maybe they were just kind of showing a flashback. Not really specifically his flashback, but just throw a
flashback somewhere.
Yeah, just like, here's what happened, just so you guys don't get lost in the film. But yeah, it does definitely seem like it's his flashback, which doesn't make sense. So,
but shout out to the editor of the movie, who must have been some college student they picked up who knew how to do Windows Movie Maker, and just went crazy on all the effects he could think of for the transitions and for the cuts, and
let's see here.
It's really bad. This movie was directed by Roger. I love this name, Roger Spottiswoode. And
Spottiswoode.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah, you can Spottiswoode. And here's the list of movies that he's directed: Terror Train, which is something I've actually seen, I think. The Pursuit of D.B. Cooper.
No idea.
So
I know who D.B. Cooper is. I don't know. I don't think I've seen that.
So Terror Train was 1980. 1981 was D.B. Cooper. 1983's Under Fire.
No. You have not named a movie I've heard of yet.
1986, The Best of Times. 1988, Shoot to Kill. 1989's Turner and Hooch.
I know the name.
Yeah, we've all seen Turner and Hooch. With Tom Hanks.
I've never seen Turner and Hooch.
It's a movie about it's like a buddy cop movie, but with a guy and a dog.
The only thing I know about Turner and Hooch is that Josh Peck has done a remake of it on Disney+.
Yeah. Okay. 1990's Air America. No. 1999 or 1992's Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. 1994's Mesmer. And then this is probably the biggest one. 1997 Tomorrow Never Dies, a James Bond movie.
Okay.
I've not seen that.
That was not the last Pierce Brosnan movie, but I think it was the second to last one.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then he hasn't really done anything that I've heard of since he did The Sixth Day. And he hasn't directed anything since 2016. Actually, let me make sure. Let me just look up. He's still alive. Okay. But he is 77. He could be. Now, he wrote the movie 48 Hours.
I have seen that.
Okay.
We talking about the Eddie Murphy one?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. I've definitely seen that. I like that movie.
Yeah, it was written by Well, excuse me. He was one of the 5 people that wrote 48 Hours.
He had a part.
Yeah.
He was the guy. He was the guy offering up transition ideas.
This was actually Terry Crews' acting debut. What did we think of his performance, regardless of his moral alignment?
I think, well, from what we saw of it, I think he kind of overdid it at points. One scene in particular pops up, which he didn't have very many of them. They entered into the Gibson's home looking for the wife and daughter, and just starts like knocking stuff off of the counter for no apparent reason. And then starts looking in the fridge. Grabs a beer, slams it on the ground or slams it on the counter. Just really aggressive. It just seems like he's going a little over the top with that.
Yeah.
There was one scene I remember that he we were talking earlier about the repet thing, is that he was controlling dogs with like a tablet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, so obviously they can control the animals they can clone.
So I think what might have actually been going on is they also had like these robotic collars on the dogs, and I think maybe that's what he was controlling. Like the collars themselves were handling the dogs, not the cloning process.
Oh, okay.
At least that was my take on it. It could be that they can control clones somehow. But
They never really point that out.
yeah, if that is the case, I would expect them to not really need a redundancy clause for the human clones.
Yeah.
Like putting in the diseases and stuff. So
It could be that
yeah.
the brains of the humans are more complicated, so maybe they can't control them.
Yeah. Which is the reason why humans can't be cloned legally,
Right.
according to the repet salesman. So yeah, it definitely could be. It's just my interpretation that maybe the collars were what controlling the dogs.
How do we feel about Sarah Winter as Talia Ellsworth with her nice do?
Which one is that again?
The one, the
one
lady
who kept
with the
changing
hair.
her hair color.
Yeah.
Like
The one who's like, oh, I gotta re-pierce my ears again, and then like,
yeah,
okay.
like he just goes over to her corpse, grabs her earrings, and pops them
I
back
have
on.
a gripe about her, and Nate, you mentioned it when we watched the movie. She is really stupid. Like when they were like, "How many times have you been cloned?" So many times I have lost count. And then he explains how you can show how many times you've been cloned by like in your eyeball, and then they're like, they show hers and it's 4. So many times I forgot. I've lost count. 4 times. I've been cloned 4 times.
And at least 2 of those were in like just a couple of days.
Yeah. Dumbass.
I think that's more of a writing problem.
Yeah, well, but the writing is the character. Like, it's not the actress. It's
No,
just...
I'm not even saying the character. I'm saying that obviously, like, why would you have the character say something like, well, so many times I've lost count, and then be like, she's been cloned 4 times. And as a matter of fact, 2 of them today. That's just like,
well,
they didn't think that, like, that doesn't make sense the way it's written.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, but overall, I don't know, it seemed like all of them except for Michael Rooker's character were not all very there. Like maybe their cloning process wasn't done, or maybe they were cloned too many times. Their brains just weren't quite working because P. Wiley messes up all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever say how many times he was cloned.
Didn't he get killed like 3 times in the movie?
At least 3 times because he dies a lot.
He got ran over, he got his neck broken, and then he died again by getting shot.
Yeah, but the last time, I don't think he got cloned because we're not going to clone him again.
And he kind of blew up the facility.
Yeah. But Michael Rooker's character is the only one he was the leader of the underlings, and I feel bad for him, honestly. Like him having to explain a corpse out in public is just horrible because Wiley gets his neck snapped, falls to the ground. Cops come over and they're like, "Oh, Doc, I think he's dead." And my Rooker's like, "Nah, he's asleep. He's good." And he's like,
his tongue is sticking out and everything.
His head's like wobbling around because his neck's just not holding it anymore, and he's just dead.
No, he's tired.
trying to push his tongue back into his mouth as him and Terry Crews carrying a corpse away from cops. Like that, I feel bad for that guy because he has a hard job having to explain the stupid deaths of his colleagues.
I have a theory.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the cloning process or anything.
Okay.
Let's talk about football for a minute.
Johnny Phoenix.
Johnny Phoenix. So, in this movie, there is a football league called the XFL. Now,
which is actually a real league now.
For those of you listeners, the XFL was also a professional football league that played its first season in 2001, the year this movie came out, but it was founded in 1999. Now, the first time the XFL came back, or it came out, they only had one season. It was kind of a failure because obviously going up against the much more widely popular, and it's been around forever, NFL, it's hard to kind of make your own name. So I have a fringe theory. It's weird to me that the XFL was in the process of about starting, like they were about to start their first season, but they weren't really around yet, but this movie had them in it. I think this movie was a commercial for the XFL.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
But why would but if the commercial is for the XFL that's coming out soon, why would they have a football player get killed?
Yeah, really weird.
In the commercial.
It's weird that they're in it in the first place, and it's not like it's not like they just came up with it on their own and they're just coincidentally happen to be a real one called the XFL, because they used the same logo for this league that has not even played its first game yet.
Yeah, it is strange.
That's poor management. By the way, we're gonna make this as a debut for your league. Guy gets killed.
Yeah, just.
But
and they
so the XFL, if you don't know this, also was created by Vince McMahon, who is the WWE guy.
Yeah,
I was wondering why I knew that name.
So maybe they wanted the violence to promote the film and everything like that. Because if I remember, I don't remember the XFL being around, but my dad used to tell me things about how all the players had character names, so they would have names like Johnny Phoenix and just
stuff to promote.
Yeah, like wrestlers, kind of So I don't know. It was all kind of a weird show, and they did try to bring the XFL back in 2020, and then something happened. I'm not quite sure, that disrupted life for everyone on the planet, and they had to put that on hold. But yeah, so that was my weird theory. I was like, because I thought maybe the XFL had been out already during the time that they were making this movie, and I was thinking, oh, okay, well, that's just kind of a dated reference, because maybe they thought they were going to
not age well.
Yeah, maybe they thought that was going to be around years from now. But then when I saw that this movie was actually somehow before they played their first season, but they were founded in 1999, I was like, I wonder if this was like a XFL commercial in disguise. Or at least the first 10 minutes of the movie are.
I could definitely see it being a promotion for it, because they definitely, when they were first showing it, because I think it's the very first scene in the film.
Yes, exactly.
They do kind of heavily try to imply this is just as good, if not better, than the NFL.
For sure.
Everything. Plus, they had the high-tech visors for their football players.
Yeah.
Oh, blitz is coming! A blitz is coming, and
which I thought was really stupid.
Well, the biggest joke is the biggest joke to me is that this movie thought that the XFL was going to last until 2052.
Yeah,
it could have made its rounds.
Yeah, it might have, and maybe it will now that if they bring it back post COVID or whatever. If post COVID is even a thing, we'll see.
Well, so. I don't know, I'm reading here, it says apparently 2023's XFL season will start February 18th.
All right.
So they are...
We'll find out.
Seems they're at least planning to continue.
We'll see. It's hard to compete with the big boys that have been around forever.
Well, the XFL's isn't it being backed by The Rock?
Yes, I think it is actually owned by Dwayne Johnson now.
Yeah, so we'll see what he's been cooking.
Yeah.
All right, you're fired. that was awful.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liner right there.
Hey, I was just trying to match the film.
So, would be your favorite scene in this film, Raceland?
My favorite scene? Oh man. I do think it was really funny when the two Arnolds were arguing with each other about talking about how you should know exactly how to fill up that bomb. And he's like, I'm doing the exact same amount as you're doing. It's just like their interactions were really funny.
Okay. How about you, Ty?
Well, I've already listed a couple of favorites, but I also really like the do you want the nacho cheese flavor or regular? I'll take the banana flavored. And they're talking about these weird genetically engineered bananas.
Yeah. Which, I mean, in the context of the film, I guess I could see them because they use cloning for everything legally but humanity. So
I do want to give this movie some credit. They did seem to be a little accurate as far as some of their predictions about the future.
Oh yeah,
especially
definitely.
Like the smart fridge and the self-driving car and just a lot of stuff like that.
Maybe Elon Musk was watching this movie and when he got the idea for it.
Yeah, maybe. None of the cars exploded though, so that's weird.
Yeah, little off-brand.
Not quite realistic.
No.
So yeah, this film, not the best, but
it definitely wasn't bad though.
I think it had some redeeming qualities.
We will get to our ratings in just a bit. You said you had some philosophical questions that you wanted to ask us.
Yeah, so I had asked this with Rayson when we first watched the film together. Ty, what would your opinion on cloning? Like, what side would you be in this film on cloning? Would you be in the extreme side of against, extreme side go, or more like Adam, where it's like, I don't really think about too much about it?
Well, I don't really think too much about it because it's not something that's exactly possible with us yet.
Yeah.
Actually, I could be wrong on that. I haven't really looked into real life science when it comes to human cloning. I don't.
And also in the film, everybody believes that it's not possible to clone a human, except it's like highly illegal to try.
Right. I don't have any problem with human clones, I guess. I don't know. I do think that cloning organs and stuff like that should be something people can do because that could save lives. As far as cloning and it would never work like it does in the film. That's not how it works. You can't just clone a copy of, like a perfect copy of someone in 3 hours. They have to be grown from childbirth. There's no such thing as accelerated growth yet. But I do think that I would be against people making just pure, like, perfect copies of people because that can lead to all sorts of problems.
Well, I'd mentioned when we're watching this, if somebody's just cloned, what's the meaning of death? There is no if he dies, we'll just make another one. It's no big deal.
And that's I don't know, depending on how you feel about that, if you can stop people from dying, I guess you should. I don't know. I guess it's unnatural, but but if you don't necessarily believe in an afterlife or something, then there's really no reason to just let people die.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
but my concern would be like, let's say, it's like the guy says in the movie. So we have a senator that he's doing his things, but he's not doing it for the corporation's best interest. Well, we'll just replace him with a pre-programmed clone to say and do what we want. And I think that's a problem.
Yes.
So I'm a little more on the opposite side. I'm not a big fan of the idea of cloning. Like, as Ty mentioned, the cloning organs thing, okay, maybe. But I'm not, and you mentioned religion, I'm not a religious guy, but if you're dead, it's your time. You don't need to be cloned. I don't think cloning is a smart thing. I think it's a path down to a bad thing. Like, I know how the humanity works. At what point we're gonna be like, oh, we don't need to worry about putting our soldiers in danger. We'll just make a clone army, and then they'll have to invade them and that kind of stuff.
I do think that if we are ever attacked by a droid army, then I think a clone army is the right way to go.
I'm not talking Star Wars. I'm talking at what point is one nation going to be like, oh, well, we've enhanced cloning so much we could just make armies of people to take out other countries and stuff like that.
I think it is far more likely and realistic and probably feasible that we would just make an army of robots and do that instead.
I agree, but I'm just saying, take the army aspect out of what I'm talking about. I don't think cloning is any path to good because I see how corrupt humanity can be.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Okay. I'm leaning more in the favor of cloning because while I do see the possibilities of darkness and how it can lead down a bad path and how it probably would lead down a bad path, I firmly like to believe in good of humanity. Yes, humanity has proven to not be so good.
Just look at history.
Yeah. There are not very many examples of humanity making the right choice at times. No. So I definitely see why cloning would be a bad thing. But in that vein, I see the potential for good and how we can't just ignore the good for fear of the bad. And if we do that, then we would just go into what is bad already. Like, we will basically be accepting our own crappy existence of, well, we're going to probably pick bad. Might as well stick with what the bad we know.
But what are the positive impacts of cloning entire human beings?
So for me, at least, I hate to say it, but the villain had a good point in his spiel to try to get Adam on his side. He talks about how, say you have a brilliant mind, someone who keeps evolving our society, and then they die, either by accident, by disease, some random act, something. They die. We've just lost a great mind that could have carried on to progress mankind. Cloning that person, we would then be able to continue that person's legacy, allow that person to continue. But I do have a stipulation. Having consent to clone, just like Dr. Griffin's wife. If they don't want to be cloned, then yes, that's when we should listen to them and respect their choice.
You really think people are going to do that? I mean, look at companies that put in like little tiny clauses into agreement things that you just have to click on. Something as simple as that. Do you agree to be cloned? And then at the very bottom in tiny text it says like, but we have full control over whatever you do, or something like that.
In the context of this movie, I agree with Nate, but there is really no way to transfer memories or anything like that at this time.
Agreed.
So you could clone somebody and they might not even be, they're going to grow up however they are. Like,
we don't really have the capability to clone a human being as far as we know right now either.
Not exactly. I mean, you can kind of, but it's not real cloning. It's more like
growing.
Basically. You have to inject the DNA into a womb and they will be a copy of the person. Yeah. But it's almost like having a kid, basically. They're going to have some stuff from the mother as well.
That's what I'm saying, though. That is a complete difference to the type of cloning that most cloning movies introduce. Right. Cloning in our reality is nowhere near the type of cloning that movies have. The type of cloning in the movies that is the cloning I'm talking about, when it comes to I would have no real problem against it. Because if that type of cloning is possible, if we are able to do that, then yes, I would not let fear of what we are capable of doing stop us from gaining what we're capable of doing for the good as well.
Okay.
I would almost argue, not to keep harping on this, is that it's not necessarily even fear of what we are capable of doing. It's just, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like with nuclear power, great thing, should be widely used because it's clean. It's a lot more sustainable. We made bombs out of it.
Yes. We are a warlike species. That is
Yes.
true.
If we can find out a way to use some sort of technology to hurt other people, we will do it every time.
Look at every sci-fi movie ever made, and it's
Look
always
at
like
just real life, even like
yeah. Well, what I'm saying is like an alien movie. Aliens come in, we find their technology, we're just like gonna build weapons out of it.
yeah.
Well, on that, I would also state that while yes, we did weaponize pretty much everything, the benefits we gained from before weaponizing them or even after weaponizing them may not outweigh it at the time, but in time it will.
Oh my god. I'm a clone.
So for those who can't see, Ty's checking his eyeball and making sure he's a clone,
But not a clone.
not a clone.
And how does that work in the movie, Nate? Just to explain to people, because I'm sure it doesn't seem like a lot of people have seen this one, so
Yeah, so in the film, whenever you become a clone, you get a little white dot on the inside of the bottom eyelid on your left eye. Every dot that you get coordinates what generation clone you are. So if you have 1, you've only been cloned once. If you've 2, you've only been cloned twice. Which doesn't really, they don't really get into the nitty gritty of it. It doesn't really make sense if you've just cloned from the original source unless they specifically put the dot in there. So go ahead, Ty.
So I was wondering about that. So the one lady, she had 4 dots. She's been cloned 4 times. What if you've been cloned 100 times
And have a bunch of white
just
dots.
like a bunch of white dots. Your
So-
whole bottom of your eyelid is just white.
They just start
Yeah.
turning into freckles on your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you start growing out.
So obviously they don't really go into that
No,
detail.
not at all.
But in my head canon, it would be like they would just start going into Roman numerals on the island.
No.
Actually, it would make sense just to put a number down there.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, but even then,
Yeah.
well, I guess no one's gonna be cloned a million times. But
You
well,
don't
the
know.
way that girl was going,
yeah,
and Wiley.
Yeah, Wiley.
They died 3 times in one day, and the space of the movie took only, I think, 2 to 3 days. So
Yeah.
they were dying almost every day, if not daily.
Well,
So
what really irritated me, one of my other gripes, is that fact that they were like, oh yeah, all the human clones have some kind of disease put in, but Arnold's it's fine. He no disease in Arnold.
not all the clones have.
Yeah, not all the
disease.
clones. Only
Oh.
specific clones. That's why it was a mix-up for Dr. Griffin's wife. She was never supposed to have a disease.
Oh, okay. I get you.
Because that's what allowed Dr. Griffin, because Dr. Griffin was basically his cash cow. He knew how to get everything done. When his wife died, he actually looked into it, and then he was like, why did you put a disease? Like, oh crap, no. Your wife wasn't supposed to get that.
Well, I actually think that the disease was supposed to be in there, but I don't think it was supposed to trigger like it did. I think it was like a fail-safe thing in case the doctor started getting too big for his britches or whatever.
Well, no, because the disease itself said that it would activate in between 1 to 5 years, and she had been cloned 5 years ago.
Oh,
3 years
okay.
ago.
So it was a timed thing.
All
3
right.
years ago? Oh, she was cloned 3. Okay.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
All right, yo, let's take a walkie. Watch a movie with the you who we call Chalky Talkies.
Wonder when this was coming.
Welcome to Chalky Talkies. This is the part of the show where we pick which character in the movie would enjoy a nice, refreshing yoo-hoo. We'll start with Nate since it's his pick.
I have 2 picks, actually.
Oh.
Hank
bonus.
Morgan,
Yeah,
friend.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That was my pick.
and Wiley.
That would have been my other pick.
I could definitely see Wiley having a nice yoo-hoo. Maybe a juice box when they make him sit at the kids' table, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hank Morgan, what did you guys think of his little like sex AI thing that he had?
Yes, his virtual girlfriend.
So creepy.
It's a bit problematic, but
In the film, technology has advanced to the point that we can now have full-on holographic girlfriends or boyfriends probably in the film. They don't really go into
I'm sure it exists, yes.
Yeah. Partners in your life. And yes, it is not great.
No, it's definitely not great. When Arnold accidentally sits in the chair and he's like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
Somebody
like,
unzipping my pants.
I'm a one-man virtual woman, I think is what she says.
Unless you install the add-on or whatever.
Yeah, like she has DLC that allows her to have
terrible.
multiple
No.
partners.
So anyway, my pick for the yoo-hoo is Simpal Sandy.
Oh, yuck.
Cindy, the nightmare
Yes, Sandy.
fuel.
Whatever her name was.
If you're gonna name my terror, name it right.
Thank you for the yoo-hoo,
I
master.
don't. Is she able to drink?
Doesn't matter.
Like, if she's not, then yes, pour that yoo-hoo down it and make it go crazy and die.
Short
That's
circuit.
fine. Yeah,
Oops, I got a boo-boo.
yeah.
Oh no!
That I believe that was when she got shot in the stomach.
And she's on fire.
Yeah, like her
So-
dress caught on fire because of laser.
Now that we've gone over an hour on this movie, do you guys want to do your final reviews?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Raceland, how about
Raceland,
you?
you first, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of 5 yoo-hoos, I will give this movie wasn't a bad movie. It does have its problems, so I'm giving it a solid 3.5 out of 5 yoo-hoos.
Okay, and then I'll go next. I'm gonna give this movie. I will also give it. I'll give it a solid 3 out of 5. I didn't think it was the worst movie I've ever seen, but I didn't think it was very good either. But I had fun watching it, and I guess that means it understands the assignment. Nate.
Before I give my review, I just remembered that I did not say my favorite part in the film, and my favorite part in the film is when Michael Drucker is talking to Adam about cloning, and he's like, "Well, how about you clone yourself so that you can go fuck yourself?"
So you can go fuck yourself.
The one F word they can have in the PG-13 movie.
Because later on, when Michael Drucker dies and his clone dies and falls on top of him, he looks at him and is like, "When I told you to go screw yourself, I didn't mean it literally." Like, obviously, you can't say the F word again, and it's just a great little callback to what they said earlier. I loved that part. So my rating is a solid 3 out of 5.
Perfect.
Oh, wow, so
we watched a perfectly average movie.
Yes.
Wow,
this-
so I had the highest rating. That's
you
kind of
did have
funny, honestly.
Let me
my
say this.
rating.
Oh, go ahead.
My rating went down simply because I completely forgot about that nightmare doll.
So
The reason why mine is 3.5 instead of being 3 is because it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
now
I
let
love Arnold
me
Schwarzenegger.
say this though, is that if this movie had come out in the 80s and they had like all the special effects had been like that and it had been just a little more cheesier and rated R, I think this movie would be a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, because we have to take time and all that into consideration for the stuff. So yeah, it definitely feels like it's from that era.
It feels like it should be like a Total Recall type movie almost.
Yeah, which is yet another Arnold Schwarzenegger film that I love.
It's
Like
funny.
that one, I
haven't
genuinely
seen
love
that
that
one.
film.
Me either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. And I know I would love it too, but I haven't seen it yet.
No idea. I don't know anything about it.
Reboot.
I did
Nope.
watch the reboot.
You watched
I
the Okay.
I didn't even know. Look, that reboot came out before I even knew there was an original Total Recall.
I don't know anything about Total Recall.
Well, you will, because I am now putting it on my list, and
Well, we had to hit
I'm
the
surprised it's
random
not on your
number
list.
generator.
Yeah.
it
yeah.
isn't on my list because I couldn't find it.
Nate, I guess we'll have to hit the random number generator for that.
I'd be willing to rent that one.
I own that one. Like,
Oh, okay.
the only reason
Well,
I didn't
yeah.
put it on my list is because I couldn't find it on streaming, but I do have it. So
And I'll rent it, and I'll pay for Raceland to rent it too, because he's a cheapskate.
he can come
There
over
you
and
go.
watch it with me.
Oh yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah.
So
Or
hold on just a second. Tell me about your favorite Arnold line in the movie, if you haven't
I
already.
already
Yeah.
said mine.
It's definitely the go fuck yourself one.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we welcome all comments. If you want to comment, you can down in the comment section on YouTube, or by emailing us at whatsplayingtonight@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at tonightplaying. There's also a link to the Discord down in the description and the Facebook group. So we did get a couple of comments. We actually got some feedback on the Facebook page.
Okay.
Was it
Okay.
everybody telling them about how much they loved Where's the Money?
No, it
No,
wasn't.
no.
Nobody said anything about Where's the Money.
That's-
Darn.
But we did get one about the 6th Day. That's a good movie. My buddy David, he said that.
Okay.
And then as far as we didn't get any YouTube. Oh wait, we did get one YouTube comment.
Oh, yeah?
Soul Food Man commented on the Where's the Money video.
Oh,
And
we
he
did get a comment. Yay.
He said birds fly, fish swim, Lime Knight has terrible takes.
Great. That's cool.
So
Well-
they were thinking about you.
Yeah.
All positive.
And then as far as Discord goes, our buddy Michael said that the cheesiness is the best part of this movie.
Yeah, it helped.
Okay.
And he also posted a picture of the doll and said, waiting to hear the discussion on this monstrosity.
Nate,
Yeah.
that should have been right there, your remembering of this doll.
I did remember that. I actually commented with him in the Discord talking about, I did not remember that at all.
Yeah.
I actually kind of wanted to change it simply because that's how much I
No,
despise.
when you're locked in, you're locked in.
Yeah. Gotta
So-
stick with the rules.
That's it for comments, but again, you guys can comment on all the things I've already mentioned. Oh,
We did have one comment from Mario.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
Talking about Wily. I'll say this much so far. It's pretty wily, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, in context, it makes sense.
That's an Arnold line right there.
It's pretty wily, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Gosh.
God.
So, we've reached the end of the show, which means it's time to pick our next movie. Each episode, one of us is at the mercy of the other. Since Nate picked this movie, it is my turn, and we're gonna do something.
Boy.
We're gonna do something a little thematic next week. I'm glad it worked out this way. If you don't know, next weekend is 4th of July weekend.
Oh,
For us in America.
For us in America, that's our Independence Day, which, how fitting, because that's the movie we're going to watch. It's Independence
Yeah!
Day. The
All right!
Roland Emmerich classic science fiction movie about an alien invasion. I do think that we all like this movie, so it should be a fun episode.
This is
Can't wait to
going to be
see
a
what-
pure fan movie.
I can't wait to see Will Smith slap those aliens.
I can't wait to see Jeff Goldblum beat his dad at chess.
Where
can't
can we
wait.
find these movies at?
Oh,
This
that's a
movie
good question. I should probably look that up real quick. Why don't you guys tell me about, just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Nate, what is your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Ooh, at the moment, I'm going to say The Last Action Hero,
Okay.
because I've been wanting to rewatch that again, and I just don't really have any bad memories of it. So I'm going to go with that one. How about you, Grayson?
Nothing could beat Terminator T2.
Look at that. Yeah, definitely a classic. That is, I feel like the quintessential Arnold Schwarzenegger film.
And I love that we're all going to have a separate answer for this because I think Predator is probably my favorite.
Okay.
That is a great movie.
But I also like the movies that I've never seen Last Action Hero, but I do like Terminator 2.
It is on the list.
And so Independence Day is our movie next week. You can watch it on Amazon Prime.
For free?
Yeah.
Like with a subscription? Okay, cool.
Yeah, for free. You can also watch it on Tubi for free, like completely. Nice. And then it says premium subscription for Hulu, Peacock, and Sling TV, so I'm not quite sure.
That could also be like a Hulu TV, like live TV kind of thing.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right.
Or like if you have like Stars or something.
But you can watch it on Prime for free. You can watch it on Tubi for free. Or if you own the movie like me, you can watch it for free.
Problem for me is that I don't have a DVD player anymore, so it's not like I can watch any of my DVDs.
I own it digitally and physically.
All right. Party at Ty's house.
Party at Ty's house. What?
Refuses to use his laptop as a DVD player.
Nah.
My laptop doesn't even have a built-in DVD drive.
I think his does though.
I know you can buy one that like plugs into it, I think.
Yeah.
Nah, we live in a digital world. I don't need all that.
Yeah. But anyway, this has been What's Playing Tonight. Do we have any final words, Nate?
Yeah, if you ever see yourself in the mirror, don't worry, it's not a clone.
Raceland. Oh my god. All right. Oh,
if Mr. Schwarzenegger is watching or listening to this, I truly apologize. And please comment, because that would be the highlight of our podcast.
No, man. Arnold, Mr. Schwarzenegger, if you're listening, we want you on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
We absolutely. We will watch one of your movies. We'll even let you pick which one. And yeah, that would be amazing. And
let's play it tonight.
And as far as final words go, we'll be back.
Oh,
nice.